The Exam by user We'd please. I stood at the front of the room, slightly shaking with nervousness. It was my first graduating class I was sending through. It was my chance to show the boss that I was capable of training high schoolers to use the program. Okay, now what's the first step again? I asked the class. A girl who was sitting towards the front of the class shot her hand in the air. I pointed to her, affirming it was okay to answer. Enter the coordinates in the designated portal room, she chimed. Perfect, I replied. Okay, now what's step 2? That's when I noticed one boy in the back of the class, his head resting on his desk. I didn't want to call him out in front of his peers, so instead, I decided I would pull him to the side after class. I wasn't mad at the boy. I just wanted him to be prepared for his exam over the program. I allowed another student to answer the question, but I kept my eye on the boy. Make sure there are no other objects or humans inside the portal room, a young man sitting near the window responded. What should we always remember to do before step 3? I asked, almost as if I were directly talking to the sleeping teen in the back. A couple of the students noticed my gaze and glanced back at him. He failed to open his eyes. Instead, he pulled his arms up to support his head. He had long curly hair that fell in front of his eyes, yet behind his glasses. I couldn't help but cringe at how uncomfortable it would be to even open his eyes. Double check your coordinates, another student answered. I couldn't tell you who it was, though. I was so focused on this distracted student. Lastly, everyone, step 3, my voice projected slightly. Just then, the bell rang, which caused my heart to sink. The boy had slept through the most important part of teleportation class. Students stood up and rushed out of the door. In a rush of teenagers who were somehow taller than me, I managed to miss the sleeping boy before he left my class. I needed to make sure that he knew what he was doing when he took his exam after school today. I frantically searched the room to see if I could spot his large head of hair. Scan your thumbprint and have fun, the first girl responded to my question. Good job. Not giving her my undivided attention, I frantically searched for the boy out in the hallway, but he was nowhere to be seen. All seniors, please report to the gymnasium to take your official National Teleportation Portal Room exams. I had just gotten done with gym class, so my hair was full of sweat. It stuck to my eyebrows, and when I put my glasses on, it continuously left streaks in my vision lane. I'd wiped them a couple times on my shirt, but the material only made it worse. Kids flooded the gymnasium to take their national exams. I quickly made eye contact with Kyle and Sean. We grouped up together and administered our bro greeting by bumping chests. Are you excited about officially getting your teleportation license, Stefan? Sean asked me. Oh, hell yeah, I am. I shook some of the sweat out of my hair. Were you studying with the notes underneath your eyelids? Sean asked me, possibly because he caught me napping at the end of our teleportation lecture today. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. We stood in line together, outside of the portal room, waiting for one of the administrators to call our name. After a short while, it was my turn. Stefan D. The woman stood at a fold-out table with an assortment of papers around her. She had a soft smile as she scrambled to find the rest of my paperwork. Are you 18 or above? She asked me. I'm 18. Okay, wonderful. Then that means you don't need the parents' permission slip. All right, if you want to sign here, initial here, great, sweetie. If you just want to step in line next to the portal room, there are a couple students who are ahead of you, so just wait your turn. There are administrators in the portal in the library on the other side of the school who will give you a portal license when you exit the room. Good luck, sweetheart. The woman ushered me toward the line of students waiting outside the portal room. Typically, buildings only had one portal room, but larger high schools like ours have 2 so that they can offer portal license training. It was my turn to use the portal room next. I faced the door, and next to it on the wall, it had a directory of portal numbers. Gymnasium, 44876599972. Library, 44876599973. I swallowed and turned around to see that the other students had brought pens and paper. This is when I noticed that I was intended to memorize this number. I sharply inhaled and began to intently stare at the laminated sheet on the wall. Sweetheart, it's your turn to go. The administrator broke my focus. Right, I whispered. Our portal room was directly next to the locker rooms in the gym. It was only accessible if someone has a portal license. In normal buildings, typically portal rooms are near the floor besides the first, with the exception of our school. I opened the door and slowly closed it behind me. It was a small stall-sized room that only one person could stand up inside of. People with claustrophobia tend to choose driving over this method of transportation because it can be extremely uncomfortable. But teleportation has been proven to be the most energy-efficient way to travel. I faced the keypad in front of me, ready to punch in a number. I couldn't even remember what the code to the library began with, so I froze. I sat inside the portal room for 5 minutes, but then was interrupted by the administrator knocking on the door. "Do you need more time before you take this test, Stefan?" she asked me. "No, I'm okay. Just taking my time," I responded. The truth was, I was embarrassed. I knew it was a simple 3-step system. I regretted my class nap. I wish I would have paid more attention to Miss What's-Her Face. I quickly entered the numbers that I could remember into the keypad. 44, 87, 65, 99, 7. I held my breath, and then scanned my thumbprint next to the keypad. Suddenly, I could hear a high-pitched tone, and the one light above me began to flicker. The floor and walls began to shake, and the tone increased in volume. Suddenly, it all stopped at once. The lights turned off, and then back on. The keypad that was illuminated had also reset itself. Finally, exhaling, I gripped the door handle. Exiting the room, I was fully prepared to see another administration woman in front of walls of books. I had expected to be ushered in front of a screen to get my picture taken for my portal license. I wanted to find Kyle and Sean afterwards so we could teleport off to get something to eat. This isn't what I got when I opened the door. When I exited the portal room, everything was filled with darkness. I began to search for the door handle to escape, but it had vanished. That's all I remember about my last day on the other side of the door.